Book 101 is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. She is a book marketing expert and worked over 20 years in both traditional publishing and self-publishing, and a present hard-won and unique perspective to books and publishing, and other than Miss Sarabian.
Hello, hello. Thank you for having me.
Welcome, Miss Sarah on Book 101 Review. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I miss?
Oh, absolutely. So, my name's Sarah Bean. I am the marketing manager for Book Launchers. We're a full service self publishing book company. And as you mentioned, I've been in traditional and self publishing for over 20 years. I've worked with hundreds of authors on developing their voice, identifying the brand that they're trying to build, and how to share their story widely so that that book becomes something bigger than just a book. So that's sort of my specialty. I've got a background in working with everything from athletes, New York Times bestselling author, celebrities. I was a journalist myself at one time, so I kind of understand both sides of the equation. And yeah, have been doing this for a long time. Love working with authors and helping them refine their stories and get them out there.
And thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world, Miss Sarah. Thank you. And today let's talk about a book marketing foundation, what to put in place before book launch. So let's start with the mindset shift. Many authors think marketing begins after the books is written, or why is it that critical mistake, and how is redefining a launch day as a combination or culmination point rather than starting the line change everything.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that is something that a lot of authors fall into. They're so focused on getting the book done that they're not looking at those next steps or the bigger picture as to how that book fits into their brand. And so, one of the things that I really recommend for authors is they start with their why, start with their goal. Why do they want to write a book in the first place? Because that reason is going to shape everything from how you write the book to how you design the book, and then especially how you market the book. Not all authors have the exact same goal. Some are looking to get their ideas out there, some are looking for book sales, others are looking for speaking engagements or ways to do lead generation for their brand. So, by identifying your goal first, that is going to help you make all of your decisions moving forward. So it's very much taking the spotlight off of the book and turning it into a bigger long-term plan. Beyond that, the next thing that they need to be able to do foundationally is identify their reader. And this does not fall into a demographic. It's not just are you writing to men or women of a certain age or a certain, income status or location or, any of those pieces. It's more along the lines of how your book, your brand, your content is going to help them solve a problem. What is the problem that they're currently dealing with? What have they tried in the past that hasn't worked? And how does your book help them solve that problem efficiently? How does it give them action steps? Because that is how you make impact on readers. So, foundationally, the first things that need to happen, understanding your goals, why you're doing it, and then who you're doing it for. Who are you helping? How are your solutions helping them? Those two bits of information can shape everything from your website, your social media content, the content within the book itself, and how you market the book long term. So those, when we talk about mindset shift, those are the two first things that I really hone in on with my authors. We spend a lot of time talking about it and then sort of building everything from there. Now I can definitely get into the logistics in terms of, you got to set up your website and your email list, but those are givens. Those are things that most authors know that they have to do. So I really start with those two pieces.
Empowering answer, Miss Sarah. Truly something else. Before a single word is written for a marketing plan, you
Mhm.
advocate for a target reader avatar.
Mhm.
Beyond basic demographics, what are the non obvious psychographic details an author must uncover to truly connect?
Oh, yeah, there's so many that go into it, and it really goes into what that author is writing about, but I mentioned a couple of them already. What is the problem that they already have? What have they tried in the past to resolve that problem? How does your book or your content or your brand solve that problem for them that is different than anything else that is out there? And a lot of times that's going to come from who you are as the author, who that what that author's experiences are, so that's going to help answer some of those questions about why they're unique. That's that unique selling proposition. But
Hmm.
beyond the psychographics, you need to look at a couple of other factors. What do they feel like on a day-to-day basis? Where does this problem pop up in their life? Getting into some of the solutions they may have tried, but then beyond even those, you have to look at your messaging as an A to B to C. A is that problem that you have, that reader has. B is the solution. That's going to be your book, your content. But then C, this part is particularly important for authors who are struggling to, define their brand. That C is the outcome of the outcome. Once they've solved that problem because you've given them the answers, what's that next step that they are enabled to do? Sometimes you can call this the reader journey, right? They start your book for
Hmm.
one reason and then they get to the end and they should be changed in some way. What are those changes? And once you start to define some of those, then you're going to be able to build out content that helps them continue that journey. To use somewhat normal example, let's say that it's an author who is writing about personal finance and they want to help young professionals that are of a certain age who maybe have money for the first time understand how to use their earning power and build, I don't know, build their retirement or budget effectively. Problem could be lack of education, so you want to be able to identify how you help educate them. Now that you've educated your reader, what are they now able to do? Are they able to budget effectively? Are they able to save up money to go on vacation? Are they able to pour more money into their retirement funds? Whatever that C is, that outcome is where you as an author are going to be able to create a reader journey and be able to help them. Now that you have all this money, let's, help you spend it wisely. So there are a lot of ways once you really assess what your reader's dealing with and what they should be doing for their next steps.
Interesting, interesting, Miss Sarah. So, how does an author core personal why or for writing a book directly inform and shape the most authentic marketing strategies? How can
Mm.
they translate the personal mission into external message?
That's a great question. I mean, so by defining the why, knowing why you're doing something, whether you're using your book to get on stages or you are using it for lead generation for your business, I'm going to use those two examples because book sales are part of every marketing plan. Everybody wants to be able to sell their book, but
Hmm.
what you're doing beyond that, I'm going to use those two examples: lead generation and getting on stages. So once you know what that why is, it's going to shape quite a few things. It's going to shape how you write the book. It's going to shape how you design the book to make it appealing to that target reader. But when it comes specifically to marketing, there are tactics or strategies that you're going to use for one path that you won't use for others. So for example, let's say you are really looking at the book as lead generation for your business. Well, in that instance, then you need to be able to ensure that that book fits in seamlessly with your brand and your business, and that you've positioned all of the marketing. Maybe it's a email funnel, maybe it is promotions to certain audiences, but you need to then breadcrumb all of those readers back to your company, right? So how do you do that? Maybe it's calls to action within your book. Maybe it's a really robust email campaign around the book that's going to bring people back to your mailing list. So that is going to be very different than someone who is potentially using the book to get on stages. If they want to use the book to become a speaker, then their marketing strategy might involve more pitching of organizations about the book content, or reaching out to event coordinators, or attending certain conferences and bringing your book as a sales tool. That is going to be a very different strategy than someone who is just looking to bring in new leads. So, by getting to the why first, it's going to help shape those decisions later on. It's going to give you your plan of action. Therefore, I always start with that why. We call it the compass. It's we're going to be building everything to go in that direction, so that you've spent all this time and money and energy building a book that actually does for you what you want it to.
So, Miss Sarah, what is the single most important piece of foundational marketing material an author should create first that everything else will flow from?
Oh, that's a great question. I mean, I don't know if there is one single must. Actually, it's not the only must have, but it is one that I harp on quite a bit with authors, is the idea of their website. There's a lot of people who have no interest in building a website. They don't see the value anymore. But honestly, as we are shifting in how buyers discover material these days, right? We're shifting from SEO, which has sort of reigned for the last 10, 15 years, now to AEO, which is answer engine optimization. So as we shift to AEO, websites are going to become more and more valuable, because it is how the LLM models are going to find information about you and recommend you to the right people. So, as customer buying patterns change, your marketing strategies have to shift along with them. So, in the days where maybe websites were considered sort of null and void and maybe not that effective any longer, we are coming back around to a time where websites are going to be extremely valuable, because they become your source of truth. They become the place where not only readers can discover you, but AI and other modes for recommendation are going to get accurate and up to date information on you. So, one of the things I work with all of my clients on is, what does that website look like? What's the language that you use within it? Because the language you use there should match everywhere that you show up in your platform, whether it's on social media, through, Substack content, videos, how you describe your book, even the language you use in your subtitle should match and be aligned with everything that is on your website. So we do have to remember that foundationally, how customers are discovering new books should very much inform your marketing strategy. It should inform how you position your website, how you position the content that you put out there on a regular basis. So I think that might be the single most important thing right now. Now, there are quite a actually, I'm going to walk that back and say it's not the single most important thing, but it is definitely top of the list. There's probably a few others in terms of, social media presence and building that well-rounded marketing plan.
So, Miss Sarah, tell
Mhm.
us, what are your short term and long term goals?
My personal ones.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, that's a great question. So, I've been with Book Launchers for 7 years now. I have witnessed this company evolve in some really phenomenal ways, and I'm so happy to be part of this team and everything that we do. I get to work with the most amazing and impactful authors, not to mention we have a stellar team here. So for short term goals right now, I am evolving within Book Launchers to handle more of our partnerships, vendor relationships, referrals, and affiliate programs. And so short term, I am building out a really robust roster with Book Launchers, and that is something that I am really excited about in 2026. Really excited about all the new opportunities that we're going to get from this. Long term goals, it's a great question. I mean, professionally, I think watching this company continue to evolve and help and impact more people is a long term goal. It's something that I love doing, and so I'm not planning on stopping anytime soon. That's my long term goal, is to continue to grow and evolve with Book Launchers, because I can't think of a better vehicle.
Continue to grow for sure.
Mhm,
We
mhm.
love that. And good luck to your goals and looking forward for more success. Miss Sarah. And can you please give us an empowering advice for those people out there want to be like you?
I mean, I don't know about being like me because I think everyone has something very individual to present. But one of the things that I truly believe is that everyone has a story to tell. Our stories are shaped by our experiences, our background, our past, how we were raised. And all of those elements are unique to us. Therefore, we have something to bring to the table that nobody else does. So, really, it's getting down to the confidence to share our stories, impact others, know why you're doing it, and who it is that you're going to help with that message. Um, I get a lot of people that say things like, "Oh, yeah, I've got a really interesting background, but I don't know who would want to hear it." The thing is that no matter who you have something that can help someone else. So don't be afraid to share that. Be confident in who you are because your experiences and your background are unique to you. You have a perspective that nobody else does, and that perspective could impact others greatly.
Yes, thank you for that empowering advice, Miss
Mhm.
Sarah. So, can you please recommend a book or books that influence your journey?
Oh, absolutely. So, because I've been in publishing and writing in some regard for most of my professional life, all of my adult life, there's a couple that really impact me. First one is On Writing by Stephen King. It's his memoir slash writing guide, and it really opened my eyes to the struggles that writers deal with, that even the greats deal with. That we can learn a lot from that. His memoir on writing really changed my perspective of the writing process. Beyond that, I mean, I have to really mention Self Promote and Succeed and Self Publish and Succeed by Julie Broad. Julie Broad is our company founder. She wrote these books over the last few years that really showcase how we approach the self publishing process. And I got to be really involved in each of those books. And I love how impactful they've been. Anyone that's out there that is considering self publishing, highly recommend picking up both those books, Self Publish and Succeed, Self Promote and Succeed by Julie Broad. They're just phenomenal examples of how really anyone who has that important message to give can take that message and elevate it to the next level.
To the next level. Thank you
Yes.
for that. The recommendations, Miss Sarah. So, let's talk about the budget. Budget is a reality. If an
Mhm.
author has a very limited pre-launch budget, let's say
Mhm.
$500,
Mhm.
where should they absolutely invest for the highest return? And what's the highest impact task can they do for free?
Oh, that is a great question. Budget is a reality. I mean, in the
Mhm.
way that things work, even though everything is DIY now, it's not DIY without a price. You have a huge investment when you self-publish a book. You are investing a lot into your money, I mean, excuse me, into your book, your brand. So I understand the budget constraints. It's a real issue. I would think for most people, I would want to put a lot of that budget towards those initial platform building pieces, the website, design, making sure that those pieces are really solid and represent who you are accurately. Um, and I guess my next question would be, are we talking pre-publication or post-publication? Because there's going to be different focuses that you should put your money towards in both scenarios.
So can we
Um,
do both, Miss
yeah,
Sarah?
absolutely,
Please.
absolutely. During the pre-sale period, I would say one of the things that you wanna be investing some time and effort into is gonna be media and, getting opportunities to get your message out there to new audiences through media. Whether that's hiring a publicist or just investing in programs that are gonna help you be a better, media subject. So
Mm.
that media, what it does for your book is it lends credibility and trust to who you are as an author and whether or not your message is one that people should be hearing. So I think that trust factor is huge when it comes to purchasing. So I would put some effort and some time into media. Now, there are so many elements to marketing that are out there, right? You've got the design process, and you've got ads, and you've got media, and you've got all of these other things that you could potentially be spending your money on, book awards or ads, or, all of these different things. Um, I would put your budget towards making sure that your marketing plan fits for you. And when I talk about that, Book Launchers recently launched something called Author Launch Kit, which is our AI powered marketing software. It's a relatively inexpensive software that's going to build your entire marketing plan, give everything that you need to be able to launch your book effectively. So investing in something like that, that's going to hand you the tools to make marketing a lot easier, that's a great way to spend your budget. In post
Mm.
launch, your budget needs to be looking at, how do I continue get my book in front of new readers? A lot of times that's going to take the forms of ads. I particularly prefer things like Amazon ads, because when you are advertising on places like Amazon, you already have buyers that are there intent on purchasing. When you are doing social media ads or Google ads, the intent is different. So when you look at Amazon ads, they're typically going to have a little bit better of an ROI, because you're already capturing readers and eyeballs that are already there to purchase. So I like moving some of that budget to Amazon ads after launch. Now, in terms of things that are free or don't require a whole big budget, I actually just gave a presentation yesterday in partnership with Nardi Media about 7 strategies that you can do to find new audiences that don't require a budget. And so anyone who is interested in checking that presentation out, I highly recommend you
Yes.
go to our School platform. Book Launchers runs the Nonfiction Author Lab on School. That's SKOOL.com. School.com has our Nonfiction Author Lab. That presentation does exist there, and it is free to access. Just to give you a high level of some of those strategies, it includes things like building a small community around your concepts, doing things like in-person workshops, even locally, will start to get you a little bit of an audience and some trust. And then some of the other things to really ensure that you're finding new audiences is making sure your metadata is very solid, and that it's being updated, 3 to 4 times a year to keep up with buyer intent and reader trends.
Well, thank you for those tips,
Mhm.
Miss Sarah. Truly empowering for our, well, most especially our debut authors, for
Mhm.
sure. So, before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people, because my Abstract Essay is already in 6th season, Abstract Poetry in 3rd season, and of course my book 101 review in 6th season as well, comedy 101 in 3rd season, and my food 101 in 6th season as well, geography 101 love letters, movie 101 review, music 101 our 5th season, science 101, sex 101 in 4th season, trivia 101, Law 101, Mental Health 101, Motivation 101, Entrepreneurship 101, and Bible Verses 101 are my baby podcasts. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Miss Sarah, looking back, what is the one piece of freelance advice you find yourself giving authors who came to you after they booked just
Mm.
lunch and is struggling to find readers?
Oh, that is a great question. I think honestly, the number one piece of advice that I have is to be vocal about your book. And that doesn't always take the form of just shouting out on social media. Be
Yes.
vocal, talk to people about it, let people know that that book exists and what you're trying to do. This includes people within your community, within your everyday conversations. You never know what the right place conversation, what opportunities will come from that. One of the best examples that I give pretty often, we had an author a number of years ago who had written a great book. She had a podcast to go with it, but she didn't really notify the people that were in her immediate circle about the book. I don't know if it came from not feeling confident about it or just not sharing that they were even going to care. But we really encourage to be vocal, talk to people about your book. When she did that, one of her neighbors had an access to an executive producer for a national talk show. So she was able to get her book there. Those opportunities pop up all the time. So be vocal about your book. Don't be afraid to talk about it.
Yes, don't be afraid and don't be shy. People, marketing is the hardest thing to do when you create your book. Marketing, indeed. Miss Sarah, can you please invite our listeners to support your advocacy, your business, or whatever projects that you're doing right now?
Absolutely. I'd love to. Thank you so much. So I highly encourage everyone to go to booklaunchers.com/7steps. That gives you one of our great tools, which is 7 steps to building your business busting book. I also highly encourage you to check out authorlaunchkit.com. That's our AI-powered marketing software that makes marketing super easy, especially for new authors. And because you're listening here, you're going to get 7 free days, 7 days to test out Author Launch Kit for free. You can do that right away by going to authorlaunchkit.com. Daniel, thank you so much for having me today. It's been a pleasure.
You are most welcome. I'm inviting you again to please do come over to my Abstract Essay and let's talk about book publishing itself. Yes, people, let's support Miss Sarah Bean, because if you support her, for sure, more and more empowering books will publish. So, Miss Sarah, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Daniel. Have a great day. I appreciate it.
Monica, people, see you soon.